Today we are going to review fitting shapes, important terms that we'll use every day in the plumbing industry, and a few more did you knows. Let's start with the basics. ID, meaning inside diameter. OD, meaning outside diameter. IPS, iron pipe size. CTS, copper tube size. Schedule, in reference to the wall thickness. SDR, standard dimension ratio, also referring to the wall thickness. Now, since the beginning of these classes, we have preached one common theme: size, material, shape. If you know the size, what it's made of, and what configuration it comes in, you can communicate plumbing anywhere in the world. It's timeless. All right, let's go over a few of the materials we've talked about dozens of times because we're going to string it all together in product identification. Copper, pretty obvious, it's copper. Steel pipe, cast iron, vent, PE, short for polyethylene. PEX, PEX, polyethylene cross-linked. PVC, polyvinyl chloride. CPVC, chlorinated polyvinyl chloride. ABS, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. Yeah, you don't have to know that. CSST, corrugated stainless steel tubing. All these things help you understand the puzzle of plumbing, whether you're putting it on the shelf, pulling it off the shelf, or writing it down for the customer. You're learning as you're going. Let's try a few on for size. 1.5 ABS Y. 2 by 3/4 by 2 black T. All right, on this one, the size is 1/2 inch. What's the rest of the puzzle? Copper 90, right on. Now, I know that seems very remedial and very basic, but there was a time in my life I could not have given you that answer. Hearing it now, yeah, I get it, but that's the whole idea. We're trying to say it so that it makes sense. All right, let's step it up and do a couple of harder ones. 1.5 poly transition riser. How about a 4-inch no-hub double P-trap? Just to recap so we're clear, nobody's expecting you to just identify every fitting you're pulling. But as you're pulling, seeing the fittings, seeing the pipe, and reading the description, you're putting it all together in your brain. Now, as you move along and you start writing orders for people, if somebody comes in and says, hey, I need a double P-trap, cast iron 4-inch, you know you can just rearrange that whole thing. 4-inch no-hub double P-trap, and it's going to pop up, location, you see and identify, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, let's move on to a few of the did you knows. Like most everything I do, these are all over the map. But the reason I'm telling you these is because as you see it show up on paperwork, or if you hear a contractor or somebody say it, this is what it means. So a rough valve or an in-wall valve typically is the control valve that goes inside the wall for a shower, a Roman tub, you name it. Groundwork is in reference to the plumbing that goes in the ground. The top out phase is from the ground up into the unit, and then the finish stage is when you're setting all the stuff you see, the toilets, the faucets, those type of things. So you have groundwork, top out, and finish. Plumbing is normally classified into commercial, residential, industrial, and repair. Let's take a quick break and laugh at this photo. Now, whoever was creating the stock image for repair plumbing is taking a finished faucet that is round and using a crescent wrench on the the whole thing is a calamity. That person has no idea what they're doing. Moving along. So residential, obviously housing. Commercial, I always say, is large residential. Industrial is almost piping to and from equipment. And repair is servicing any one of those things. If somebody says they're doing a TI job, that's short for tenant improvement, like an office building or a commercial structure, and they're putting little tiny units within it, TI work. If you see something with an ADA stamp, the American Disabilities Act, that particular product was designed for handicap use. There used to be an AGA approval for all things that referenced gas. It is now CSA, which is the Canadian Standard Approval for all things gas. That is the new governing body. So if a guy's looking for a gas valve, gas flex, whatever, it needs to read CSA on the side. UPC. UPC typically means Universal Product Code. In our case, it's Universal Plumbing Code. And what it does, it's the code body that governs all of our product. We sell products that are code approved. IAPMO is the testing organization, International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, that creates an approved UPC number for products. All right, let's wrap it up here. That's a ton of information. Let's talk about all those little quirks and things that show up on a ticket that don't make sense.